So I picked up this cute bone bracelet that is hecking stretched out, and I thought I would take the opportunity to quickly show you guys how I restring a double-stranded bracelet that doesn't get kind of annoying. So I find double-strand bracelets sometimes hard to restring because once you restring one side, the other side like flip-flops all over the place, and it gets kind of hard to like know which direction and make sure they're all the same way. So the easiest way that I found is to simply cut one side and string it up, but leave the other side strung. So that's what we're going to start out doing. This bracelet also, when I measured it, is too big, so I'm actually going to take out one bead from every second section just to kind of reduce the size down to a more average size. This is probably closer to an 8-inch bracelet, which is a bit big. So I'm going to use my 0.8 stretch cord from my website to restring. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick whichever side you want, find the knot, cut on one side of that knot. I like to cut at the knot because now I can drop that side and all my beads don't come rushing off the back side. And I can just restring as I go. So I don't cut my string, I work on the spool, because then same thing, the beads can't rush off the other side. Keep it easy. So I'm just going to go bead by bead and restring. So I'm going to take off that one, string it through, and go to my first section. I'm going to take these, there's just 4 beads. I'm going to lose one, like I said, just to help reduce the overall length. Pop those guys on. And since it's all, like I said, still strung, it's really easy to kind of keep the order. So now I'm going to go to the next bead. Pull out the string, put it on, and just carry this process all the way through. So you can see as I'm working through this, everything's just staying nice and tidy. I got just this first half restrung. I'm going to carry on my way around the other side. Everything isn't trying to run away and get all tangled on me. Just keeps it easy peasy. All right, so I got that first yicky string out of there, and we have one side all strung up. So it's still attached to my spool. We're going to slide her down till I have about 2 inches on the end, and cut off the other side of my string and go ahead and tie the knot. So at this point it doesn't matter too much if your strings are like the right direction or knotted or like twisted or anything. I do like to typically try and make sure it's not twisted just to double check, but if it is twisted or something, like flipped the wrong way, you're going to be cutting and restringing this other side, so it doesn't really matter, but like I said, just something to check for. When I tie the knot, I typically like to see if there's a spot that I can like hide the knot. This bracelet, the beads are all the same, so it didn't really matter where I picked it, but I didn't put it between these tiny little beads because it would stick out in between, so I put it beside one of the brown beads so that when I tied the knot, it might hopefully slip somewhat into that bead. So we're going to go ahead and tie that knot. If you want a better description on how I'm tying this knot, I have put a link in the description on a very slow video on how I tie this knot, but otherwise it's just a basic granny knot, one over top of the other. Pull it nice and tight. Then I do an overhand knot where I have both strings together. I'm going to go over my finger and through the hole. The biggest thing here is to make sure you're not going to like tie this extra string with that string, so I kind of making sure I'm going through. It's kind of hard to show here. I've gone through that hole, so I only have just the clear string that I'm tying on. I'm not tying that black one in, and pull that one nice and snug. But like I said, I do this video that knot much slower in a different video, and you can read that in the description. So that is all nice and tied now. With this stretchy cord, I like to crazy glue the knot so that it doesn't like slide apart, and then it holds nice and snug. So I kind of pull the knot away and hold it with my fingers so that the beads don't get stuck to that crazy glue. Crazy glue is actually bonded with moisture, which is why it loves your skin. But if you blow a little bit of hot air on it, it actually dries really quickly. Okay, so that is now done. We can cut that down and we have one side strung, so you can see how much smaller it is. Now we're going to go ahead and string the other side. I'm going to start in the same place. There is my other knot, so we're going to cut there and continue on stringing, following my pattern as well. So I did not remove a bead from this section. There's still 4 beads there, but then here there's 3, so I'm going to have to in the next section reduce and carry on that pattern. Okay, second yucky string is now gone, and we have the other half of our bracelet strung. So now I have both of those strands on there. It's nice and easy. I didn't have any beads going anywhere. I just need to now pull down my string. That is too far. There we go. So about, like I said, 2 inches on either side. Give it a cut and tie the knot. So same thing now, because there is 2 strands, you have to make sure you're only tying on that side. Don't try and let the other side get incorporated into that knot. So we're going one over top of the other, granny knot, pull snug. So the second knot, like I said, is a little bit more tricky with the double strings, so I'm going to go over my finger, and I have to kind of like poke it between these two, so I have it over my finger, and I'm going to try and like feed it actually through there. It might be easier not on my finger. There, okay, so there's a loop that is between, over my finger and like between there, and make sure it's not going between any of these little guys, just that one exact spot. So now we go through there, so I like pinch it with my finger. I'm gonna go through, so I pushed it around and pull tight. Snug it up, glue it up. So I just kind of like hold it taut with my fingers, get the beads out of there, dab a glue. Okay, and that is now glued. We can cut that bad boy. And there we go. I have my restrung bracelet. So I'm not sure if my knots will go into the holes. I might fiddle with it a bit and see if I can get it in there, just so it's kind of hidden. Otherwise, sometimes the knots are a place where your bracelet kind of like makes an angle instead of being nice and smooth. So anytime you can like hide your knot inside of a bead is ideal. But I mean, it's not the end of the world if you can't. Success! I got the knots slipped into the bead and hidden, so now there are no knots. I'm gonna go scrub this bracelet really good and probably list it on my website as a refurbished vintage piece. If you're looking for any of the supplies that I used in this video, you can view all of those in the description below.